Hello, and welcome to the Muscle News podcast in collaboration with evolutionofbodybuilding.net. Today, I want to talk about Guy Cisternino's rant about all these bodybuilding media channels that are attacking Mike Van Wych and the people that support him, like Guy Cisternino and Fouad Abiad and other guys. Now, um, I used to have a good relationship with Fouad, but we had a falling out. But it doesn't mean that what he believes is not right or whatever. I'm not going to go against him for everything he does. And I mean, Guy Cisternino's has the roots of an Italian, so living in Europe, um, I can relate to him. I mean, I'm Canadian, but I moved to Europe at 20 and things are totally different here. I mean, if you have to tell somebody something, you tell him to his face, and sometimes there might be a push or a shove, and you don't instigate things. If you're a small guy like Jeff Nippard, you don't go to a guy like Mike Van Wych and instigate him because, it's like a seal going up to a great white shark. You leave the guy alone. If you have something to say to him, just say it and walk and just you don't push it. Now, the mistake that Jeff did was record the incident. Now, I believe, 100% believe that if Jeff spoke to him off camera, they would have settled things. But Jeff wanted to record it. Mike saw him recording it, and that probably instigated Mike to push him. I wouldn't like it if I'm trying to tell somebody something and he's recording it, especially, knowing how social media works today. Um, I believe that Jeff knew what Mike's reaction would be. I don't know what was said between them, but um, if it was because of somebody criticizing somebody on social media, the way they train or whatever their diets are or whatever, um, it happens every day. I mean, I get tons of messages of people, blasting my articles or, why did you write like this? Why did you write like that? You can stay going after people for the rest of your life. It just, life goes on. Now, the way I saw it, Mike was just getting on with his life, and he sees these two guys coming up to him with a camera. It just makes things worse. So that was a mistake on Jeff's side. That's how I see it. So, if you think differently, you know, that's your problem. What Mike did was wrong. Okay. Let's say it was wrong, but it doesn't mean that, you know, all of a sudden his Instagram channel goes away, it's blocked. I mean, you know, this doesn't just happen like that. Somebody did something, behind the scenes, just like what happened to Nick Turilli with his YouTube page. Um, the guy didn't made a mistake. He's probably going to suffer the consequences, but um, destroying him like that might make things work worse in the long run, for the people that are going against him. Um, like I said, I don't agree with what Mike did in America, or it was in Canada, right? Or yeah, in Canada. It happened in Canada. Um, People see things differently. Saying that the Pro League or the NPC should suspend Mike, I think, is a bit harsh. I can see where Shawn Ray is coming from, but um, Shawn Ray knows there are other things allegedly happening behind the scenes in the NPC and Pro League. There are some things that I wrote about in the past. I have been called out for them. I am I've been punished indirectly. I'm still suffering from these punishments, but I will keep on exposing the truth with facts in my articles. Saying that, I believe the NPC in the Pro League have other things to worry about. If they want to suspend people, they can suspend half the people that are in the Pro League because everybody has something, to smell under their arms. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. Everybody um, makes mistakes, but this incident of Mike, it's like, I don't think I mean, suspended. He doesn't even compete anymore. He just sells products and he has a couple of stands here and there, so if they suspend him, what's going to happen? He's still going to sell his products, probably sell more products because, that's, the more negativity he gets, it's helping him. Now, I have no problems with Muscle Discord. He'll probably call me out for saying certain things. I mean, if Shawn Ray doesn't agree with what I'm saying, it is what it is. But I can understand Guy Cisternino calling out these people because it's just not right. Now, if they keep pushing Guy Cisternino, he'll probably come out with some dirt, as he said in his rant. Now, unless these people stop, this thing's just going to keep on going and going and going. And I mean, Mike's going to take advantage of it to sell his products. I mean, bad publicity is good publicity. Mike opened I think he opened another Instagram page. So, life goes on for him. He'll probably get his Instagram page back. You just have to talk to the right people and we'll see what happens. In this video, I'll put on, what Shawn Ray said, and I'll put on Guy Cisternino's rant. So enjoy and let me know in comments what you think.
I don't know if I've ever even met Mike, but I do know that if I'm Jim Mannion and Tyler Mannion and the IFBB Pro League, you're not invited to our shows for a period of at least 1 year. You're suspended for 1 year and let the legal practice take its course. And that's it. I don't have anything else to say on the matter, but I don't run the federation. I don't like bullies. And there's no place for it in our sport because you got your feelings hurt. You don't like what I said. You don't like what I posted. You don't like how you can't go around putting your hands on people, period. Just as guilty by condoning the behavior as the guy that committed the criminal offense. So all those guys standing by, the bully, they're cowards too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I got no respect for those guys, period.
All right, guys, just in the basement, doing some morning cardio this morning. And had to come on here, man. I really didn't want to do another one of these, but I'm going to say this, man. I'm really super disappointed in a lot of the people in this industry lately. Number one, it is one thing to not like somebody's actions or opinions, and it's another to then really become a bully. So I'm going to explain myself a little bit. All right? To all you motherfuckers, okay? And when I say all you motherfuckers, all the people that are doing these stupid podcasts about Mike and bringing on dumb, idiotic guests that shouldn't have a platform to speak on, because a lot of these people that are doing podcasts and are saying shit, it's all a double standard. So I'm going to explain myself a little bit. For those that want to crucify Mike, okay, for pushing an individual in the gym that walked across the gym with his cameraman to get a reaction. Well, he didn't get the reaction he wanted. Now, Jeff knows I don't have a problem with Jeff. I've gone into DMs with Jeff, and everything that I'm saying to you guys in this video, I have expressed to Jeff. And I told Jeff he shouldn't have gotten pushed. And I thought the way he went about what he did prior to walking up to Mike was stupid. And I also think going to the ER and calling the cops is also dumb. And then you have all these people that are trying to get him kicked off IG, kicked out of the IFBB, not a lot of expos, get kicked out of all gyms. Like, hold on a second. This is where I'm drawing a fucking hard line in the sand, okay? Because let's go back. Google bodybuilders that have been arrested for gear. Google bodybuilders that have beaten their fucking wives have been put in jail. Google competitors that have gotten into fistfights at Expo. I know two buddies that are retired pros that one knocked the other one out in an Expo. Okay? He's still around. There are guys that have been in jail for months in the IFBB. One guy beat the shit out of his wife okay, and got out. Nobody says a word about that, okay? But a guy pushes another guy, and you guys want to crucify him. And then I got to watch podcasts of this idiot going like this. Yeah, well, he shouldn't really be allowed in the IFBB. I said, you went and let your mother go to jail for your drug use, Shawn Ray. You are the biggest double standard in this entire industry. You have no leg to stand on in regards to people's actions, because your actions are a fucking joke. You talked negatively about Dallas McCarver, about him dying. You came at Sean Roden when he fucking passed away, calling him a drunk, calling him a drug dealer, a drug user, fat. You, out of everybody, after I got in your face at the Arnold and you came up to me in fucking tears apologizing, you, out of everybody, have some set of fucking balls opening your mouth, because you, my friend, are the biggest bitch in the industry. And then let's go to the other. Greg Doucette, Guy Cisternino. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? I know the guys that worked with you, Greg. I know your ex-marketing guys. I know the lady that did your cookbooks. You want to say, who am I? I'm only known for screaming somebody in front of a fucking hack squat. Oh, let's not forget the 7 IBU Pro wins, 7 appearances at the Olympia, 2 New York Pro titles, owner of Uprising, one of the biggest sponsors this year to the IFBB, owner of Muscle Inc. Gym. Just because you got a YouTube video, okay, wearing a tank top, fucking up pronunciations of people's names, you have no leg to stand on, bro. Because half of you YouTubers and podcasters are a bunch of fucking double standard losers that have all been in trouble. And until one of you guys shows me you're perfect, don't make other videos about one person that pushed another one. Because when you look in the mirror, and that goes for me included, I have fucked up many times in my life. The one thing that I don't do is point fingers at somebody that fucks up occasionally or fucked up once. You know what that's called? That's called childish. And you want to know something? I could tell who all of you guys are voting for based on how much pushing of one guy upsets another guy. So, unfortunately, now I am picking a side, because I think what you guys are doing to Mike is bullshit. So, yeah, you guys want to come at me? I'm letting it fucking hail down, because you guys come at me, I promise you, I promise each and every one of you, I will fucking make videos that will embarrass the shit out of each one of you, because each one of you guys that I'm talking about, if you think I haven't dug up dirt and made a few phone calls and gotten dirt on each one of you idiots, each one of you are sadly mistaken. So before you try to cancel Mike Van Wych or anybody else, okay, look in the fucking mirror and realize that all of you are not perfect, okay? And until you guys are perfect, then you can put out another podcast video giving me your goddamn opinion. Until then, keep your fucking opinions to yourself about a push in a gym, because if this is the world we live in and we're gonna fucking crucify everybody that pushed or done one thing wrong in their life, guess what? These jail cells are gonna be real fucking packed, because each one of us, including myself, are gonna end up in the jail cell, because nobody's fucking perfect. We've all fucked up. So if I could give everybody one little bit of a fucking peace of mind for today, grow the fuck up.
I learned that there was CCTV footage from the gym. Once I learned that, I said, I got to get my hands on this footage. I need to tell the full story. And it wasn't easy. It was very hard for me to do this, and it was a lot of work to do it. But I got the footage from the CCTV camera. So the first thing I want to say is, I don't have no skin in this game. I'm not friends with Mike. I'm not friends with Jeff. I've never spoken in my life to either of them. So whatever I say is not biased. I'm just looking at the situation from the outside and giving my opinion on it. And as I stated in my first video, I said, I always try to reserve judgment on a situation like this, on judging other people until we know the full story. But this situation was so hard for not just me, I think for everybody, because we see a man, right, much bigger than somebody else, almost double his size, a clip, 6 seconds long, throwing him across the gym like a rag doll. I mean, it's hard not to jump to conclusions. It's hard not to jump on that person's side, right? But I always felt there has to be more to this. What would cause somebody to want to do this to someone else? Yeah, we know about the online beef, but it's got to be more, right? I also wondered why the clip we saw was only that 4 to 6 seconds long. Like, what happened before? What happened after? And then I learned that there was CCTV footage from the gym. Once I learned that, I said, I got to get my hands on this footage. I need to tell the full story. And it wasn't easy. It was very hard for me to do this, and it was a lot of work to do it. But I got the footage from the CCTV camera in Pure Fitness in Canada. And I'm not going to say too much before we watch the footage because I'm going to play the footage for us so we can watch it. I'll commentate a little bit. But afterward, I'm going to show you Jeff's original statement of what he made after the incident. And then I'm going to show you some things that seem to be different. And I'm very curious to see what people have to say after they see this. But the footage, again, was very hard to get. But I did everything I could to bring it all to you before anybody else. All right, Mike says, what's up? So we see Jeff and Mike exchange. And it looks like Jeff had a smile. And it looks like Mike turned around, said something to him. And then Jeff continues working out. And his cameraman is there. We see him filming him. It looks like a nice gym. Now we see Mike over here, okay? So Mike comes over here to the equipment rack to get something. It doesn't look like he looks at Jeff, and he goes back and he was training his client. And Jeff is there filming. And now watch. So Jeff says something to his cameraman. And then it looks like he calls over to Mike. It looks like if you zoom in here, it looks like he calls his name. Mike looks over. His cameraman follows. Jeff says something to his cameraman. And now they go over to Mike. And the camera's pointed at Mike. And now he takes him, he throws him. It looks like he's tripped over that bench. They get closer together. They exchange words. And notice the cameraman put his camera down. He's not filming this footage at this point. I'll get into that later. He takes Jeff again, pushes him by his throat. Jeff has his hands up. He doesn't want any part of this. I don't blame him. And then take a look here at the cameraman. He pushes the cameraman. He walks away. And that's what we have here on the footage. Now, I'm going to slow down the footage in certain areas, right? And I'm going to read to you Jeff's original statement of the incident that happened that day. Because remember, he released this on Instagram and he gave his description of the events that happened. Now I'm going to read his events and I'm going to show you how accurate they are towards what happened. His first statement was, as I was filming bicep curls for a YouTube short, Mike brushed by me and said, "What's up?" This was our first engagement that day. I chuckled. Okay. So let's get to that point here. So we see Mike walk over and he say, "What's up?" And he walked past, okay? So he walks past him and it looks like, you see Jeff, he chuckled. Right there, you could see it clearly that he's smiling, all right? Now, Jeff's next statement, he said, Mike said, "Oh, things are about to get real funny," as he walked past me. So now we see Mike turn around and he probably said, you could see his mouth opening. He's saying, "Oh, things are about to get real funny," as he walked past me. So far, His account of the events are very, very accurate. We know how smart Jeff is. He remembers everything. Okay? So, then, Jeff states, I then asked him, what did you mean by that? And I made sure my cameraman was filming in case he tried any funny business. So it looks like they exchanged a little bit more words. You could see Jeff's mouth mumbling over, and Mike looked at him, smiled, and turned around. Now next, this is what Jeff says. This is where it gets very interesting. Then he walked back towards me. He said, turn the camera off. And I immediately jabbed me in the throat and I fell onto the floor. However, he's missing this entire part, which I'm going to show you. So I'm going to play this. He looks at his cameraman. This part is not in his statement. And Mike walks over to the equipment rack. And from this, it doesn't look, I'm not even looking at the annotations, it doesn't look like he looks at Jeff. And he walks over to his client. He was training a client that day, I'm assuming. Now, Jeff says something to his cameraman. We have the footage, remember. We have the 6-second clip after this. We don't have, you notice the cameraman too. He's filming this the entire time, right? But we don't have that footage. We only have the second Mike grabs him by the throat. That's the only footage we got. So now Jeff is walking towards Mike, says his name, according to this, and if you look at his mouth, it looks like he says Mike. Cameraman is pointing at Mike. Mike says something to him. I'm assuming it's about the camera. And he's still filming. And then he pushes Jeff over by his throat over that. Now, I'm going to stop this for a second. I don't agree, and I've spoke about this before. Even though we see here, Jeff is the one who came up to him. I'm going to say again, I don't agree with anyone putting their hands on anyone. Regardless if Jeff approached him, Mike made a big mistake here by putting his hands on someone. No matter what he said to him, he has no right to do that. So he goes to him here again. They exchange words, and I'm going to read Jeff's statement here so you guys know what the conversation was here, according to Jeff. I stood back up, and he told me to never talk about him ever again, and then he jabbed me in the throat a second time. So I'm assuming this is what they're talking about here with each other. And then after this, according to his statement, he grabbed him by the throat. Again, right there, and it's very accurate. Like I said, this entire statement by Jeff is very accurate. It looks like they're exchanging. Jeff has his hands up. And again, Mike should not be putting his hands on somebody who's defenseless. He has his hands up. He's not looking for a fight, and he's not posing a threat. Mike says something else to him, and this is his cameraman over here. His cameraman. Now, this part here, I can't tell when he's walking back if he actually hits the cameraman or if the cameraman hits him. I can't really tell from this footage. You can't really see from this angle. But obviously, you can see Mike pushing the cameraman. Again, this is a kid. We don't know how old he is. I'm actually hearing that he is 19 years old. He's not underage. But Mike should not do that. You shouldn't put your hands on anybody. Then after that, Mike walks away. So now, remember when I was saying, when Jeff released this clip, we only had the 6 seconds, 4 seconds, however long it was. We didn't have the entire thing. So we couldn't see what happened before or after, right? So now I want you to pay attention to the camera, okay? The camera's filming this entire time right here where Mike walks past. We can't hear really what was said, only by what they're saying, right? So we see the camera's filming, but we don't have this footage, even though it's being filmed. And I'm going to show you something here now because you could see the camera up into the point where it stops filming. So now he's still filming Jeff. This entire time, we might be able to hear a conversation here if we had the sound, but we don't. So all this is being filmed, which is footage that we don't have. At that point, Mike goes back. Okay, now this is key here because what's said over here, and it's still being filmed, we don't have. We do have, not when he says Mike's name, or I'm assuming it's Mike's name. We don't have that in the footage either. We have the footage right after this. Right after Jeff says something to the cameraman, this is when we have the footage right here. And that's the footage we have, and then it's cut off. Now notice the cameraman. He puts his camera down, okay? His camera gets put down after this. It's no longer being filmed by him. So the only footage we have of this part is the security footage because his camera's not filming. You see, he has it by his side. And I'm going to fast forward a little bit over here. And notice, okay, it's still not being filmed by his cameraman. So none of this is being filmed. But my question is this. This part here, all of this, was filmed by his cameraman. But they released only that 6-second clip. Why did they only release that 6 clip when the footage from prior to that we see here is so important? We need to see what was being said to understand the full story. Guys, thanks for watching. Remember, I never say this before too. Please hit like on my video.